want to...
I don't have a choice. I don't have a choice, but I will do it. I will suffer through it.
Was she because she was a cop or because she
Whoop.
was just like a random person?
Wait, do you think it's okay to lady cops?
I don't care about cops.
Oh my god.
If somebody's targeting you because you're a cop, I hope you get a humane treatment.
Where does your brain go?
Wow, this is going to be a doozy. I'm gonna pause a lot. I'm gonna comment a lot.
The increasing provocative actions towards China. That's very dangerous. By now, there's constant talk about
China is colonized. China is imperialistic towards the whole of Asia. What do you mean?
Sober, reasonable, usually reasonable journals about the terrible China threat. Well, what is, and we have to move expeditiously to contain and limit the China threat. And what exactly is the China threat?
I mean, they threatened to initiate war with us yesterday.
China keeps wanting to annex Vietnam.
Raised here. It is discussed in Australia, the country that's right in the claws of the dragon. So recently, the statesman.
Like, oh my god, this is a video that I will have so much to say about. The nation state. Vaush is wrong here as well, right? Because I don't know. I'm gonna be like, oh my god. Tchaikovsky. No. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
Former Prime Minister Paul Keating did have a essay in the Australian press about the China threat.
Okay.
He finally concluded, realistically, that the China threat is China's existence. The U.S. will not tolerate the existence of a state that cannot be intimidated the way Europe can be.
What? I mean, Vaush is correct. What he's gonna say here now.
What? Wait, what?
Of course.
China has bent over backwards to make themselves an amenable partner for our economic interests. They have sweatshops across the breadth of their territory to make themselves good for us. We've traded with them extensively. Europe has said no to us. What?
Yeah.
What? Also, they got intimidated by a fucking 82-year-old woman flying over to an adjacent country. What? This is like such propagandizing. The idea that like there's something unique about how China won't get along with us or whatever. It's basic geopolitics. Obviously, America wants all countries to be subservient to it. All countries want all countries. He's an anarchist. He should know this. That's the nation. That's the nature of nation states.
Okay.
Like, yeah. That's not like a unique thing.
Okay.
We didn't threaten them. They threatened us.
Okay.
That does not follow U.S.
Fair enough.
China isn't a nation state? Brandy.
Okay. China absolutely is a nation state. I will explain why, okay? Nation states build, basically to say it in a simplistic way, because I'm not a very, well-spoken. I'm a duck. I'm a bird brain, so I will use simple words. I will say it in a simple way. China absolutely is a nation state because of a simple fact that, for example, patriotism in China is based on being Chinese. You know, when you are Chinese in China, you're part of the Chinese nation. It's a nation state, of course. Jesus. Yes, it is.
I've been posting for chat in a while, and I normally don't care, but I desperately need context on this. What the f do you mean China isn't a nation state?
Yes, it is.
I need to know what you mean by that.
It is. It absolutely is.
I can't move on until I know. This is like a new tanky line I'm unfamiliar with. They're not a nation state. They're like the people's territory? What?
Okay. I will explain it to you by giving you an example of the Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth, okay? Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth was a country that was born from the union of the Kingdom of Poland and the Great Duchy of Lithuania. It existed from 1500s till the end of the 18th century. Okay? And the Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth was not a nation-state. Nation-states did not exist when the Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth existed. It was a so-called composite state. It called itself a republic. And you had many different nations, nationalities, many different groups existed within the Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth. You had Polish people, you had Lithuanians, you had Jewish people, you had modern-day Ukrainians, you had modern-day Belarusians. And this is when it gets very important. People did not identify as Polish people, as Lithuanians, as Ukrainians. They identified with the social status that they held within the country. They identified themselves as nobles, they identified themselves as peasants, they identified themselves. Jewish were a separate class back then, so they were Jewish, but there was no such thing as national identity. There was no such thing as a national, as a sense of patriotism coming from being Polish or from being Lithuanian, etc. Do you understand? That sort of concept came later. When the Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth stopped existing, it was taken apart by three empires that surrounded it: Austria, Prussia, and Russia. A national identity started emerging in 19th centuries for Polish people, for Lithuanian people, etc. Then they decided, we base our sense of identity and sort of patriotism on who we are, on being Polish, on belonging to this one group that belongs to this nation, and this nation forms a country. And the idea that you need a single nation to form a country is basically what creates a nation state, okay? That a country is made up of a single nation that has to share a single culture, single heritage, etc. Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth did not have a single culture, a single language, a single sort of like heritage, quote unquote. The Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth had over 40 languages in use. Like, it is very important. And of course I have like a very nice quote that I like to read, and I will tell it to you. Okay? I love this quote. I will put it on screen and I will read it as well. I'll copy it here. Boom. Okay. Where did it go? A vision. Boom. Okay. I like this very much. This is a perfect quote. Under effect. Blah 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 blah. Under elected. There is so. There we go. There we go. The political union between the Kingdom of Poland and the Grand Duchy of Lithuania is one of the longest lasting political unions in European history, yet it is known more for the way it ended, destroyed by its neighbors, in the late 18th century, than for its success in sustaining for over 4 centuries a consensual, decentralized, multinational, and religiously plural model of political union based on concept of republican citizenship. See, republican citizenship. From its inception in 385-6, a vision of political union was developed that proved attractive to Poles, Lithuanians, Ruthenians, and Germans. The union was extended to include Royal Prussia and Livonia, This book charts the formation of the English Union down to its final definition in Lublin 5016. It examines the often bitter disagreements over the nature of the Union that nevertheless were overcome by a Republican vision of a union of peoples in one political community of citizens under an elected monarch. The book challenges interpretations of the Union informed by the idea that the emergence of the sovereign nation-state represents the essence of political modernity and presents the Polish-Lithuanian Union as a case study of a composite state, okay? Which basically means that you can have countries. Countries existed before nation-states, and China is definitely a nation-state. But Vaush, I think, misunderstands the concepts of a nation-state as well. And the most painful thing is that this stupid person even invokes the Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth. So it's really painful for me to listen to this conversation, okay? Really painful.
What does that mean? It's in their constitution? Oh, it's in their constitution. Wait. It's multi-ethnic? Brandy.
This is like a mistake. This is a mistake, okay? Because when the nation states formed in the 19th century, there was a strong ethnic component to them, okay? But more than the ethnic component, there's the overarching idea of a nation existing that shares a culture, that shares a language, that there's such a thing as a national language, okay? Do you understand?
Do you think that a nation state can only be comprised of one ethnicity?
It can be.
The only person I've ever heard that argument from before
it can be more.
Was a neo-Nazi.
But the key thing is not ethnicities. The key thing is nation. The idea that a nation state can only be comprised of one nation that shares one culture, okay? And in Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth, that just wasn't the case. And yet the country existed as a country, okay? That is the difference.
They recognize 56 ethnicities? What, are you of the opinion? Yes, that's what a nation is. Oh my God!
No,
I can't.
No, that is not what I mean. There used to be a strong during the inception of the concept. There was sort of a strong ethnic component to it. Like, for example, to be Polish, right? To be of Polish ethnicity meant basically to be of the Polish nation. But that is no longer the case. But still, I still think the nation states are cringe. I still think the idea of there being a nation, a single nation of a single culture, of a single language is cringe. I don't like nation states.
Taking the point for me here. Oh my God. Yeah, as opposed to all other nations in the world, which are, what, ethno-states? Also, the idea that you can make a country not want to jump on Discord. Oh my God, you know what? Yeah, I actually do. Just DM me on Discord. Why not?
Why not?
Hello?
Howdy.
You can hear me,
This
right?
person is so
Yes, I can.
horrible.
How you doing?
No.
I'm good.
I
How
should
are
have
you?
had this
I'm
talk.
doing great.
So, do you
I
know?
should be the one to have this talk. It would have been a chill talk. It would have been very quick, very short, very concise. Because I know that. Because I think I understand what Vaush is trying to say.
The definition of a nation? Do you know, like the Benedict?
This is such a horrible way to start a conversation. Like to trying to quiz people on things. Why do you... Don't quiz people on things. Just tell them what you think, then ask them what they think. talk to people. Don't quiz them. What the hell? What is this sort of like weird discussion way? What is this like weird form of communication when you jump in the voice chat and start quizzing people and stuff? Nobody likes this and nobody will react positively to this sort of thing, I think. When you just jump in and, can you give me a definition of this? Can you give me a definition of that? Can you give me a what is a woman? Like, nobody likes this. Nobody talks like this. You know? I mean, technically speaking, you can do the whole questioning thing. Or if you don't do it like in this sort of like antagonistic way, you know? You can do it, but you need to be sort of smart about doing the whole asking people questions. Like, if you don't do it to, as I've said before, to quiz them, but rather if you are trying to genuinely start a dialogue. Yeah. Like, don't try to quiz people. Try to engage in a conversation, if possible, you know? Like, feel free to ask questions, but ask them in a way that you're genuinely curious about what people think about things, what their ideas are. Not to get a, aha, I got you, you don't know this, you don't know that, I'm quizzing you and you fail. That's stupid. No one will oblige you, no one will play. It will just turn into something like this.
Anderson definition.
The Benedict. Oh Christ! Do you play Hearts of?
I got, do you know the Anderson definition? Nobody talks like this. So just you're putting yourself in a really bad position when you just start off with some, do you know the XYZ definition? Just talk normally with people, okay? Just, I don't know. This is really annoying to me because this is like a very interesting topic, the rise of the nation state, how multi-nation, multicultural and multi-ethnical countries were replaced with nation states and how cringe they are, the rise of nationalism. This is all very interesting, but when discussed in a way like here, it becomes just frustrating, at least to me.
Of Iron?
No.
What do you waste your time with instead of
Universalis
going
4,
outside?
which is the superior version?
Okay, gotcha. Right.
Amazing.
No, I don't know it. I also don't care
Nice
about it.
meme.
Nation is a country. I don't care about
No,
any
nation
definition.
is not a country.
No,
See, a nation is not a country. That's not correct, you know? I know what Vaush is trying to say, but that is not correct. A nation is not just a country. That is just not correct. Because countries can exist without being nation states, you know? I know that in modern times, like currently most countries are nation states, so of course most countries will be nation states. But it doesn't mean that the nation state is just a country, but because by that logic we could just go back in time and say a kingdom is just a country. Yeah, that's right. Like, just try to discuss ideas with people. Like, come on. Like, you're putting yourself in such a bad position right off the bat. You're making the other person defensive right away. Why? Why do it? Why do you have to gain? You know?
yes, it is.
Nope.
Yeah, I don't
no,
care.
oh
Don't
my
care.
god,
No.
you don't even know what a
See?
nation is.
No, it's
bro.
not.
This is what happens. This is what happens when you just jump in and quiz people and stuff. Vaush says, I don't care. And he's trying to say, oh, you don't even. Like, I don't mean to be mean, but the biggest idiots that always discuss things with Vaush always default to the whole, oh, you don't even know X, you don't even know Y. Like, nobody will care. Nobody will care that Vaush doesn't even know what a state is. Nobody will care. And you will just end up looking like an idiot in front of a huge audience. That's all that's going to happen. Like, it would have been much better for him if he just would have engaged and tried to discuss this, not You don't even know what a nation is. Like, from the looks, I've watched this for a bit. I've watched a bit of this debate, and this person doesn't know what a nation is either. So this person is not any more knowledgeable on the topic than Vaush is. And at least towards Vaush, I can generally speaking be more charitable to what he believes because I can definitely understand what Vaush is trying to say when he says that a nation state is just a country, you know? Because generally speaking, that is the modern status quo. And China is definitely a nation state. Are you kidding me? Of course. It's by definition a nation. Yeah, China is a nation state, definitely. Of course. Yeah. I think that I'm not sure either. He just wanted to argue with Vaush online. I don't know why. This is just so stupid.
It's that nobody cares.
Do you know?
Nobody,
Okay. Do you know?
nobody
Do you know?
cares. No,
do you know,
nobody cares. No, nobody cares.
See?
Nobody cares. Right off the bat.
See, it's just shut down. It's just shut down. And you can really have a good conversation about this topic because this is a really engaging topic. There are whole books written about this topic, about how countries existed before the emergence of the nation state, how things have changed, the emergence of nationalism. This is really good thing to read about and to learn about. I'm doing it right now when it comes to my favorite topic of the Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth, and I will talk about it on streams. I will do some more structurized history segments when I will talk about these things, about the emergence of the nation state, because it's a really important topic. But you need to approach it in like a not an idiotic way, and you cannot use this topic to try to, basically become a champion for autocratic nation states like China, of all places. Come on. Like, it's pure cope to call China not a nation state. Of course. Like, Jesus.
Have you heard of this
where
18th
the
century philosopher
nationalism came from?
Have you heard of the etymology? Disregard all actual use of the term nation state. Let's return
I'm
back
actually giving you an
to the days.
Like, this is not entirely correct what Vaush is saying. This is not about the fact that this is not about 18th century philosophers. It's about the fact that countries existed before nation states. And Vaush is going to touch on this in a minute. Well, Vaush is going to touch upon this in a while, but what he says does not apply to countries like the Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth. That's because the Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth was fairly unique country when it comes to the rest of Europe, okay? This is why we're going to discuss it on the history stream. And I really hope that you will come and watch and become a bit interested in it, because it's really important, you know? It's really valuable to know about these things.
These people took wind baths on
an
Hilltop.
actual discussion with you, bro.
Wait, you opened with
Do
the
you know
before.
where
There's no reason for me to take you seriously.
Do you know the origins of it?
The origins of nationalism.
Yeah.
Well, I would say it would be from the nation state, because they have
Okay, so where does the nation state come from?
The nation state is a modern geopolitical unit.
Yeah.
Okay, so what?
Yeah, it's a modern thing. Yeah, that's right. Of course, there are books, as I've given you a quote, challenge that the nation state is the only form of modern governance, which is of course very interesting discussion to have, you know, but not in this way, not in this cringe way. But I think I'm repeating myself a bit, so let's just continue, okay?
I don't know, but where it comes from, it can answer that in like 50 ways, right? Like that's
no. There is there's actually a historical definition for where a nation state.
No, it really depends, because the emergence of nation states happened differently in different places. It did not just happen everywhere at once. It happened in different countries in different circumstances. Let's not pretend that there was this one event that created, oh, from now on, this is the nation state. That's not how it happened, okay? Let's not even pretend. Of course, I'm going to read more about it as I'm going to prepare for my history thing, but let's not pretend that it was a singular event because it wasn't, okay? I can already tell you that much.
Wait, do you just use historical definitions?
Yes,
what
because
word do you
that's
use
how
to
we
refer
know
to
what
black
reality
people?
is and how it develops over time.
Wait,
it's not really about using the historical definition. It's like more about tracing how it happened, tracing how we got from not having nation states to it becoming basically the status quo, right? Like, I think it's valuable to know this, especially since we know that the nation state did not need to be actually the thing. There were alternatives to the nation state, you know? So it's important to learn about the possible alternatives, especially since we do want to sort of go past nation states in the future, right? One way or the other.
You can only know what reality is by using old, obsolete definitions of things.
We know how these structures are formed and how our reality functions based on the past.
Okay, gotcha. But
you know
only
historical
using
materialism
old terms.
is?
Historical. Wait, no, I don't. That term wasn't used in the 15th century.
Oh, good.
It wasn't.
Actually, I think dialectical.
Oh my God! Yes, stop.
I don't think
stop,
historical
please,
materialism had come about in the 15th century.
Okay, you just
Stop.
gonna
Pretty
troll me,
confident.
or do you?
No,
wanna have
it's just like
honest-
well, I have to wait. Do you consider yourself a socialist?
Yes, that's why I'm against nationalism and any.
Also, I have to add that they are really talking past each other. This is double frustrating because they are just talking past each other, and it seems like I might end up just saying my piece, about the nation states and how it all things, and just I might just say my piece and stop watching the video because at some point it will just become a waste of time, you know. And I'm just gonna get frustrated because this is really annoying. Like, this is extra annoying to me because this topic is a topic that I'm really interested in. Like, this video has really annoyed me, and it's like specifically because I'm interested in this topic, you know?
Anybody who talks about nationalism and calls himself as a socialist is a liar.
Wait, just talks about? Like we can't even
What?
Or
mention
like
it?
supports
Voldemort?
any nationalist movements is a liar, because nationalism is a disease. It's also like a European invention. Why would you want something that came from the 30 Years' War in Europe?
Well, are you one of those people who thinks the Europeans invented everything? That's pretty racist.
Oh my God, you don't know what.
Nation states were not invented. What the hell? Nation state is not a... What do you mean when you say nation state was invented? It's not a gadget. It wasn't invented. They arose from changing, like, circumstances. They arose from how people started viewing themselves and their identity. It's not an invented thing, you idiot. Oh my God. Like, when I hear things like nation state was invented, I just cringe, you know? It's basically like saying you cannot invent identity, or what? On a massive scale at that. But what I will say, let me hear this again, because I've lost myself.
That's pretty racist.
Oh my God, you don't know what.
Yeah,
Okay,
I personally, I think that
what,
black and brown people can also invent things.
Do you know when I say peace over Westphalia is?
Peace over Westphalia?
Like, this is so annoying.
piece of Westphalia.
Also, okay, I will add this. I am again. I don't like nation states. Okay, I don't like nation states, but it doesn't mean that supporting nationalist movements is bad. No, it doesn't actually, and there are important reasons for that, which I will discuss later as well. There is an important reason why being against nation states on principle and supporting national movements is not contradictory or bad. Okay? Should I say it now, or would you like to wait for a future segment for me to talk about this more? Like, there's a really simple reason why that is the case. Because of self-determination. Of course, I'll just say it quickly. Because of self-determination, we don't want groups of people to be just sort of ruled. If there's a group of people that decides on their own, okay, the cliff notice, if there's a group of people that decides we identify as this nationality, as this group of people, and we do not want to be a part of this huge empire or whatever, and we want to fight for our freedom, then yes, of course, it's good to support those people in this endeavor. It's not bad. Like, even if you're not pro nation states as a concept, it doesn't mean that you're going to try to squash a people's fight for freedom because, oh no, it's not good because it's nationalism. That's stupid. Like, come on. Are you suddenly gonna be anti-freedom because you don't like nation states? No. Those are things that we need to go past through, not by subjugating peoples. That's idiotic. That's stupid. You do not go past nation states by subjugating whole groups of people. That's not how that happens. That's never how it will happen. Subjugating groups of people is what hastens the formation of nation states, because those people will want to be independent and will form an even deeper sense of divided identity. Okay? So this is definitely not how it happens. Does that make sense? I will debate people on this. Does that make sense or no? Does that make sense in any way? Okay. So that's me see.
No, I don't know what you're referring to here.
Oh my
Okay,
goodness.
so this is where
Okay.
the historical origins of a nation state / modern
Wait, people are
modern
talking about
states come from.
EU4. Is this like a tech tree thing? Is,
Oh
it,
my
is it like
God.
when you
I
level
have-
up to the Iron Age, you get the piece of Westphalia?
Yeah.
Oh God,
Civ
dude! Are you
development, and
serious?
it
You're
gives you
just going
guns?
to troll me because you don't actually know the
Now
Yeah.
people in showers
background
bring
of
up
what you're
EU4. So wait,
Yeah.
Okay,
Westphalia.
they could bring up
I love
fucking
my tech
Victoria
trees,
too.
yeah.
It doesn't matter.
Wait, have you played
So
that
you,
one too?
you
Europa
can engage with my
Universalis!
points
Come
or not?
on, let's
Okay,
go!
okay. I'll try
I've
my
never...
best. So we were talking.
I've never played Europa Universalis, by the way. Just gonna put it out there. I have not played. I have tried playing one Europa Universalis game as a child, but I did not. I'm a Europa Universalis heathen. I have not played it. Oh my goodness. I'm not a real nerd.
Talking about
Definition of a nation,
The
and then the
nation.
definition of a nation state.
so what happens just out of curiosity, what happens if a definition changes over time to adopt a
Okay,
colloquial
but
use?
okay, if it changed over time, you have to show me the historical change over time.
Okay.
You have to show me evidence for that.
Okay. So my evidence is that nobody, and I mean nobody that I've ever talked to outside of neo-Nazis, considers the term nation state to have an ethnic component. They're referring to the geopolitical bloc, not...
Anytime. Okay, so why is everybody in Europe against?
It used to have an ethnic component, certainly, but I think this has changed. I don't think that's how it's used now. I think, and it's not even important, What is important is the nationality part, the language, the culture, etc., etc. You know, the idea of having, for example, a national language. But I've already said this, so whatever.
Muslim immigrants and shit.
Because they're xenophobic?
Okay, but where does that xenophobia come from?
Although, of course, I do think that there's a bit of xenophobia that's sort of baked into the idea of a nation state. Because the nation state sort of has this weird, like, hidden part of our nation is the best and other nations are not as good as ours, you know? Like, this is a thing that grows out of nationalism, sort of in a organic way, so to speak. It does happen, okay? Rabid nationalism is a product of nation states. It's inevitable.
Why aren't Jewish people in a lot of parts of Europe considered citizens sometimes?
Why are you
like
hold on,
why was that like an issue for a very long time in Europe?
Why are you singling out Europe as though countries all
because
over
that's
the
where
world
it
aren't
originated
xenophobic?
from, and
wait,
we could, no.
wait, hold on, wait.
Okay,
wait. I'm just
we could
just
talk
out of
about, like,
out of
something
curiosity.
like Kenya or Bolivia, where they don't have a nation, a concept of a nation, the same way Europe does.
This is really annoying because this is not going anywhere. This is like a really stupid conversation. This person is really annoying. This person is just not trying to discuss this at all. There's nothing happening here. There's no sort of understanding. Okay. I see you, Lucy. I hope to see you again. I really do. Like, this is a really frustrating conversation for me. Boom. There we go.
Wait, do you think there aren't ethnic conflicts in Africa?
Yeah, but they're ethnic, not national. Do you know the difference between an ethnicity and nation?
I do.
Turkey
yeah.
is a nation, but the Turkic people are an ethnicity. So, like, people like the Kazakh people.
Because there are places in which ethnicity is conflated with nationality, like but this is a much more complicated thing. It becomes a lot more complicated thing. Of course.
Azerbaijanis, they're Turkic ethnicity, but they're not Turkish nationals.
And there are nationally Jewish British people and ethnically Jewish British people.
No, not really. That accepting
Whoa.
Jews.
Yes, really. Yes. That is what happened when the nation states formed. Jewish people were, in fact, incorporated as citizens, as parts of the nation. Yeah, that was the whole goal, to make Jewish people parts of the nation. Yeah, of course. What is happening, Ruth? The ceiling is falling? Is failing? What? What is falling? Can you elaborate a bit, Ruth? But yeah, that was the whole thing. It was called the emancipation of the Jewish people when they became, yeah, of course, Vaush is correct. That is what happened during the emergence of the nation state. But many Jewish people during the Second World War and before were nationally German. Yeah, of course. That's right. But Jewish people sort of transcend that division a bit. It's a bit more complicated, of course. But yeah, of course.
As part of your nation
Holy
is a
shit,
relatively new concept. Yes.
Guys.
What do you think the Holocaust happened, bro?
Yeah, it is a new concept, but Jewish people were absolutely a part of that process, and they became parts of their corresponding forming nations. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So yeah, Vaush is correct when he says that there you can have a person that is Jewish, nationally part of the nation state, but ethnically Jewish. Yeah, there is no contradiction here because this person does not. This person is pretending to understand what they are talking about, but they are actually making a lot of mistakes. Like they should go back to the books and read up again. I will. I will read up more. Don't worry. I will read more for you to be able to talk about it. Okay? It's true. Don't worry.
Like,
oh,
what,
do you think it happened because the white people of Europe had enough? I don't know. I don't know why you think it happened. I think it happened because of anti-Semitism.
It's the German race.
There's no German race.
Oh my, yes, German ethnicity. Sorry.
Oh, okay, all right, yeah. I mean, I guess there isn't really that either. There are like lots of ethnicities all over the world, right? Like there are hundreds, thousands in America.
Yes, but not every ethnicity has its own nation. Do you consider Israel a nation state?
I consider all nation states a nation state.
Do you consider Iran a nation state?
Yeah. I'm gonna anything that's in the UN. I'm gonna consider a nation state.
Okay, so what's Iranian nationality?
Well,
where does that come from?
The nationality is prescribed by the nation state. It's the nationality, like
no,
nation.
but where does it come? Where does the standard language come from?
The standard language just comes from whatever was popular in the
language
beforehand.
The French language as it is now.
That's a very complicated question. There are a lot of ways to answer that.
Yeah,
how did the whole language happen?
If you understand the development of a nation state, you would know how through administration. The first
the person's so fumbling
used a specific form of the French language, which was located around the capital of Paris. I forget the name. It was France.
Well, if you don't remember your stuff, then don't go into internet conversations about topics. Come on. Don't go into a conversation with a big internet figure just to say, oh, I don't remember much, but I just wanted to say that, don't do that. You just look like an idiot. Oh, I had to drink some water. My throat hurts. Oh my goodness. But yeah, just don't do this. Don't jump into a topic and I don't remember anything, but I'm gonna discuss this topic. Prepare yourself if you want to have a discussion. Oh, Boogie! No. Why does this happen, Boogie? Why is life so unfair to us? Oh, Boogie. I'm depending on your Wi-Fi, Boogie.
Exact name. But there were other French languages in France before the French language became what it is now.
No, don't use...
People in southern France spoke a different version of French.
This is gibberish. Don't use arguments such as this. This is not a good argument. This is not the argument that you want to use. No, 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 no. There are so much easier ways to explain alternatives to a nation state. Come on. This is not making the argument that you want to make. Oh, Boogie, thank you. Thank you very much.
French. Or people in, like, I don't know, the Alps probably spoke a different version of French. Or, like, you could look at...
in America, we speak different versions of English. English that people speak...
not in the same way. It'll be like how...
AAVE?
Eastern Ukraine...
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if people still subscribe to being part of a single nation, you idiot. It doesn't matter. Like, people from Ukraine still subscribe to being part of the Ukrainian nation. Because they are part of the nation state, you idiot. What? No, no. Oh my goodness. Which in the past was not a thing. It's partially about self-determination, about self-identification. Okay? It is.
Ukrainians speak a different version of Russian than a Russian speaker.
It doesn't matter.
Belarusians speak a different version of Russian.
It doesn't matter.
Significant linguistic differences between different dialects of English just in the United States. AAVE.
Not really. That's not that different.
It's
it
not
doesn't
the most
matter.
different in the world.
Who's the judge?
There are some big
Who's
differences.
gonna be the judge about what? This is so silly. What? 50% difference and because no, that's not how we discuss languages. Yes, that's not how we discuss languages. Jesus, I'm disappointed.
Also,
Yeah.
why are white people called Americans but Africans or descendants of slaves called African Americans?
It doesn't matter. They're all still Americans. They still all subscribe to a nation of America, to Americans, to be an American. At this point, this is racists just excluding a group from a nation. But America is still sort of like a nation state, I would say. By that, yeah.
Or Chinese people who've lived here for multiple generations are still called Chinese American.
Well, you can also call
why do you need a
like,
hyphen if they're all part of the same nationality? Shouldn't they just be called Americans?
Because when you're saying that, you're often referring to ethnicity. Like I'm called an Irish or
No,
a Polish American.
I'm from Ukraine. My ethnicity is half Slavic. How is that
Slavic? I think you can get
No.
a bit more specific with the ethnicities than Slavic. That's a very broad category.
Eastern Slavic. Sorry.
Oh, there we go. The specificity is returned. You can call people Irish or Italian Americans. We say Italian Americans all the time.
Doesn't matter to the
Nobody actually calls
conversation.
themselves that
Doesn't,
unless they
it really
want to
doesn't.
show their heritage.
That's
not the point.
Though.
But
no, like America's pretty racist, and I do
This is
feel like I hear
meaningless
people
to the
say-
conversation of discussing nation states and non-nation states. This is nothing. This is empty talk. Okay? This is just bickering for bickering's sake. An Afro-American, an Asian American is still American. It still belongs to the nation group American. So it doesn't matter. It's a distinction made by races that want to exclude groups from the nationality, from the nation. But it doesn't matter. It doesn't mean that suddenly the US is not a nation state, okay? And it doesn't mean suddenly that white is the nation, means the nation of American. That is stupid. That is stupid, of course.
Like Italian American or Polish American around as often as I hear like Taiwanese American or Chinese American.
No.
It probably depends on the
The only time I hear it is when they want to make
Polish
a
people
show that they're from
Polish
a certain
people used to not be considered white, so that's a whole different kind of worms that you don't really want to open, okay?
part of the world or something, or
Well, that's what they
their
all
roots.
do, yeah. Because where
but,
I grew up, like,
but for African
Americans
Americans,
get
for
called
American
Americans.
Black people, they're just called African Americans no matter what.
well,
For
they
Chinese
also
Americans,
Rachel,
for
called it-
Latin
We're just gonna
Americans, they're
finish
just
this video
still
soon
called
because
they
I'm
also get
like,
called
Latin
Americans. Like a black person in America will be
I'm getting
called
tired
an
of this.
American, but African American is a more specific subset.
Why
in
are
the
they a
same way.
second-class citizen though?
Well, because
Don't
of
you think that's a
racism, but
dialectic between the nation and the state going on there?
No.
no, racism.
Why not?
Wait, racism predates the nation state.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
No, it
obviously.
doesn't.
Wait, yes, it
racism
absolutely does.
Yeah,
Racism
does,
is
yeah.
a concept that was created around the same time as the nation state
No,
was
even
actually.
It was created in a similar time, that's true, but no, that's not true. No. That is not how it was. No.
the
being
modern
created.
scientific notion of racism, scientific giant finger quotes, was around a 17th century construction,
No,
and that predates the
no,
modern
it's
nation state.
actually
We still had
earlier.
feudal
Yep.
kingdoms
Okay,
back
first
then.
of all, I think you might be a bit off on that. I think racism as we know it started during British colonization of the Caribbean, and I forget the exact date.
Okay, well, we were gonna take a break. We might return to this conversation later.